And of course, we are, as we say in KTV2, Dair here in the Untold studio. Of course, it's the show where we bring you a lot of amazing interviews, a lot of amazing guests, a lot of great talks. But before we get into all of that, of course, I'm your host, Abdullah Al-Hindiani.
And I'm your host, Al-Athari. And today we're joined by Yousef Alsarraf, who, mashallah, Abdullah, seems to have a lot under his belt. He does karate, he does fashion design, he also does skateboarding, and I think he does more things like videography, filmography, photography. Mashallah, he seems to have a lot going on for him.
You know, it does seem like a lot going on, and mashallah, for someone like me who maybe does half of one of those things, right? Not even a full of them, I can't find the time. So I'm really curious to sit down with him, talk to him, and see how does he find the time, how does he balance it. And by the brief we've got from our production team, he's been doing karate for 20 years, mashallah. I'm really curious to talk to him about that as a long life fan of martial arts. I think it's going to be a lovely talk.
I think so also, and I love seeing people who mix different kind of concepts in life, you know? He sees himself as an artist, but he focused a lot on his physical career. He does karate, he did skateboarding, but he also segued into a more creative side of things with art, with fashion, with, photography. And I think it's nice to see that people can try different things and still have it as part of their life. So I think that it's going to be very interesting to talk to him and find out how he balances all of these things and why he chose to do so many different things.
It is, and I'm curious to talk to him. Maybe he can better my fashion senses because right now they are non-existent. With that, Lujain, we are going to take a break, and after the break, we are going to be here, join with him. And of course, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, from that quick break. And I do want to welcome our guest, Yousef Alsarraf, for being here with us on the Untold tonight. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It's my pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And honestly, Yousef, I'm very impressed by what I've heard about you because you seem to have covered a lot of different things in your life, and you identify as an artist, but you also express yourself through movement. And so I want to start with that. I heard that you started karate at a very young age. I think it was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So do you feel like discipline became part of your routine because of that? And also what made you choose karate?
So since I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of movies, like martial arts movies. So I told my dad I want to do it. I just want to do it. So I joined karate. So since that day, I didn't stop. So I just go into competitions till this day. Now I do it for 20 years.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
So it's a part of my lifestyle now. So I can't leave it now. So I just do it. And I like taking videos. So now I take videos of it.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. So you think that helped you create discipline in your life?
Yeah. It taught me a lot of discipline, and it taught me that I always fight for my dreams and that I don't give up on my dreams. And if I fail, it's a learn, it's not a fail.
It is. I kind of have a lot of great memories whenever you brought the idea of movies because I know a lot of my friends and a lot of my, I would say relatives who got into karate, got into, what is it, the one with the jiu-jitsu and the kickboxing and boxing. A lot of them were influenced by Jackie Chan movies, by The Karate Kid, by Rocky. So you never know the amount of influences that a lot of movies have on kids, in pursuing a lot of these kind of disciplines. So I do want to ask you about that because you said you spent, mashallah, 20 years in karate. So when it comes to mentally as well as physically, what would you say is something you learned, some of the higher lessons you picked up from the sport?
So from the karate, it gave me a really good mentality. So in my lifestyle now, when I want to learn something, I just do it, and I just don't care. I just do it. So when I do it, I'm a fast learner. So I'm good at it now. If I'm interested in something, I just do it, and I show the people my results. I don't care if it was bad or good. I just care about the process.
Honestly, that's so impressive. Especially that you did it for 20 years. That's not an easy thing to do. And I've heard that you also have competed and done competitions and things like that, which also require a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline. And I think when people hear about that stuff, they only think of the success. They only think that you're doing it and you're doing a good job. But I think there's a lot of misconception over the idea of how much work it takes to get there. So for people who think that because you're successful, it means it's easy for you, what's the reality?
The reality is like we train for one competition is like for months, sometimes a year.
Wow.
For one competition, and people don't see that because the competition is just going to be like one day.
Yeah.
And they see the results and they think it's fun, but it's something really hard to do. But like when you love something, you're just gonna do it, no matter it is.
And also, when it comes to these competitions, what we say is one of the difficult part. Is it the headspace, the mentality to step into it, or is it the physical part?
It's everything. You need to be good at everything if you want to reach it. If you want to be like get the gold medal, you can say. You need to be good in your mentality, your physicality, and everything. Yeah, you should be good at everything.
No, that's really cool. I mean, I always wished that I had done martial arts at a young age. I was kind of afraid of getting hurt or pain and that kind of stuff growing up a lot. I was very sheltered as a child. So it was never something I did. But I also enjoyed watching the movies and seeing how people did it. It was so cool to me. And another hobby that I thought was such a cool kind of sport to be into was skateboarding. And I heard that you were also interested in skateboarding. So tell me, what made you also do skateboarding?
So I used to like hear songs and see the videos and the movies. So it got me interested. So I got into skateboarding. But when I do skateboarding, I used to watch the YouTube and I learn alone.
Really?
So
You learned from YouTube?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's different. Like when I joined, like in the karate, there's a coach who like teach me. But in like skateboarding, I just be like watching YouTube and do it alone. And so that's a different. Here I can be alone, but here like I have my team, I have my people supporting me. But in skateboarding, I'm just alone. Yeah.
So what is it about skateboarding that brought you in? You know, it made you interested in the hobby itself.
It's like it's nice to like, when I see like the videos. It's like when they do the tricks, it looks really cool. So I just want to do it, and I want to be like them. Yeah.
Did skateboarding give you something different that karate did? Like, I mean, because karate, obviously, there's a certain way you feel about it, that you do things. So what was the difference for you?
So in skateboarding, I can say like I can think alone, escape from the world. I just think of my things, things I want to do in the future, my creative things I want to do, and for my brand now. So when I do skateboarding, I just think of myself, about myself. In karate, when I do karate, it's like when I compete someone, I just can't think about anything else, only like focusing and fighting. So it's like two different feelings. Here I can think about me, about myself, about my future, but in karate, I just like compete. I should focus. Yeah.
And also, when it comes to skateboarding, you know, a lot of people have different, you know, I say ideas or stereotypes about them. They think they're rebels, they're troublemakers, you know, they are, you know, causing havoc all over the place. But those are, of course, all misconceptions. So what would you say are some misconceptions about skate culture itself?
It is a real sport, and now it's in Olympics. Now everyone can see it on YouTube. They're in Olympics and they're competing, and people should really care about them. They're really like good artists. A lot of artists came from skateboarding. It's really a good sport, and it's a hard sport to do. Like if you want to do a one trick, you should like take a time to do it. So they have really good mentality.
Yeah, no, that is something I think, especially growing up, people were not aware that skateboarding required a lot of work or was actually a proper sport. Like Abdullah said, some people really had a bad idea about skateboarding because a lot of teenagers did it, and teenagers always rebel and do things that are maybe outside of what society thinks is acceptable. But as you said, it became an Olympic sport and it has dedication. There are certain tricks and movements that not anyone can just do. You have to really practice and work hard to make them happen. And you mentioned previously that when you skateboard, it allows you to kind of be in your own mind and think about yourself. So what happens mentally when you skateboard? Like, why do you think it makes you feel peaceful?
So because I'm alone, so when I think about myself, I care more about myself, you can say, and I think more about my creative stuff. So it made me, and after like years, I met my friends in the skateboard community. I met like people in Kuwait, and I talked about them, about myself, and I told them my dreams and my goals, and we all like, they helped me to like reach it. So now like I can't leave it. It's like a part of me now.
It is, and you know, it brought a little smile to to myself when you said skateboarding is peaceful, because my only memory of skateboarding is when this is much younger, when I was in a fight, someone broke it on my back.
No.
So I don't associate skateboarding with peaceful at all. I do want to ask you about something, because mashallah, skateboarding and karate, those are the hobbies you picked up, and they seem completely different. One of them, like I said, it's a group project. You are all within each other, each other's helpful group. You are all there, supporting each other. And skateboarding, it's an individual thing. It's you against the road. So if you were to see yourself, or to pick yourself between one of them, one of them you see yourself more into, one of them you like more or you love more, which one would that be?
I can't choose, because like it's like two different worlds, and two different communities. So when I do karate, it's like it's a different world, and when I do skateboarding, it's a different world. So that's what I like about it. So like when I do karate, I can have a break here. And I feel here different in skateboarding, and I feel different in karate. It's two different feelings.
And they are very different feelings. And you also mentioned that a lot of artists actually skateboard, or they get inspiration from it. So where do you think the creative side of skateboarding comes from?
So when they want to do a trick, they should be creative on it, and everyone will have like their ways to do the trick. And sometimes it took them like months to do one trick, and they should do it. So till now they do new tricks, be creative on the new tricks. So that's why like there's a lot of like fashion people came from skateboards. There's some singers came from skateboarding. A lot of artists from skateboarding community came.
It is. And also, mashallah, you made it the segue into the next topic much easier, is that, your foray, I would say, into fashion. Like how did you get into that kind of, line of things, especially when it connects to skate culture?
So when I did skateboarding, I saw there's a lot of people like they wear cool stuff. They care about themselves, how they look, because like they take videos while they do the trick, so they post it. So they care what they wear, and there's a lot of like brands for skateboarding. So I loved the fashion from the skateboard. I started fashion from the skateboard.
No, that's so interesting, because I remember growing up as well, the skater fashion was a big thing. And I also, even though I didn't skateboard, I loved the skater style. I loved the baggy shirts, the kind of street style that kind of had the different outfits. I thought it was so cool. And you're right, a lot of musicians were doing it. It was so popular, and it became such a part of culture almost, even though it came from something just like skateboarding. And it's not something that you would think about would actually create a whole fashion genre almost. So it's really interesting that your love of this sport also led into this love of fashion and creativity. So I want to ask you, like, looking back, do you think that your love of movement helped you form this kind of relationship with creativity and self-expression?
Yeah, it's really helped. Like I started karate since I was 4 years old. Now I'm 24, like 20 years I'm doing it. So I grew up like moving, practicing every day, moving every day. So now that's why I do skateboarding. I just don't like to chill. I like to move. And till now, like even when I design, it's like me moving, skateboarding, talking to my friends. I'm an active person, so it helps me a lot in my lifestyle.
So are you still connected to those parts of your life, the karate and the skateboarding, now as you are into fashion and creativity, or is that something in the back step?
I still do everything, yeah, together, and it's hard, like because like when you want to do something, like you should like leave something. So I just like try to make it all together. And now now I do UFC. I'm trying to do UFC now.
Oh wow,
MMA.
no way.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different movement to bring in.
Yeah, but like I'm just like I like to try new things. It helps my mind to grow and creating my new things.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting to see that people can kind of incorporate movement and creativity and bring them together to kind of be like, it helps you be yourself, right? And from karate, you learned a lot of discipline. From skateboarding, you learned kind of freedom of movement. Now you're doing UFC, which is a whole different, kind of more aggressive form, you could say, depending on the type that you're doing. Yeah, I think that's a really great idea. We are going to take a very quick break, and I hope we can dive deeper into your more creative journey. So stay tuned for after the break. And we're back from that short break. So we were discussing your journey through movement and how it made you become an artist almost. From karate to skateboarding, you mentioned that skateboarding especially helped you create your own kind of streetwear brand. So could you just walk us through that?
So the other day I was chilling with my friends at the park, skate park, and I told them like I want to do my own brand because like I used to like a lot of brands, so I want to be one of them. I want people to buy from me. I want to create my own stuff. So they helped me of creating this brand. So we grow together now and we have like a story together in this brand.
Oh, mashallah. You know, as someone who doesn't have a lot of fashion senses, right? You know, I'm the kind of person who walks into a store and whatever people left by the cashier, I pick it and I just buy it. Zero fashion sense. How did you discover, you know, you have a particular eye for fashion and creativity and to look for pieces of, you know, outfits and wear?
I used to don't have it before, but when I focus on it, it's a really different thing. It's like when you wear something, it's you. It's you describing yourself from what you're wearing. So I put a lot of effort of designing my clothes. So and it's really hard now if you want people to buy from you because like there's a lot of worldwide brands. So why would they buy from a local brand? So it should really be different to be success.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. And I think I do love the idea that from skateboarding, even though you didn't have a fashion eye, your love for skateboarding and everything with the culture of skateboarding, it kind of helped develop that kind of style. And then you were like, hey, as you said, you like to just do things, right? So you said you got a group of friends together and you guys created this concept together. So what was it like creating this with your friends?
So when I did my brand, when I told my friends, and they helped me growing my brand, and now they really love the brand, and we feel like it's a family, and I'm building that family, and now it's becoming bigger and bigger.
MashaAllah. And we do wish you all the success because like you said, you know, people got to support local stuff, right? You know, even if you are in an uphill battle against global, worldwide known brands, it's always great to hear stories that people here actively working. With that being said, I do want to ask you about something. Now, the brand, for the people who know it, what are some stories, you know, about the early days that they can be surprised by if they hear about it?
So at first, when I started doing it, I like to post like behind the scenes too. So when they see it and they feel what real friends can do, and when I post it, they feel the post. They feel it's a real feeling. Even the models are my friends. So we all just grow together, and people when they see it, they buy from me. They buy. So yeah, that's what's the difference in my brand.
I think that's so fun. As you said, it's like a family almost for you guys. And as you said, they're your friends. So you kind of all work together to create this vision that you guys have. So it's not just business. There's something more than that. And I think people can feel that when they look at your brand as well. When something is more authentic or comes from the heart, I think it always shows. But I also want to ask you, because you mentioned also that you do videos and things like that. So where did this love for photography and filmmaking come from?
So when I started my brand, I have a vision, and I didn't see like someone here have it. So I bought my camera and I learned everything from the camera and how to do that vision. So I bought it to real life.
MashaAllah. You know, there's always this saying, if you want to be a director, a filmmaker, whatever, just buy a camera and do it. To actually know that you've done the same, you know, it's amazing. Now, I do want to ask you about something is that before you or after you got into, you know, making content and making this photography and filmmaking that related to your branding, like where do you see yourself more, as the person behind the camera or the person who's part of the production itself?
I like to do both. I want to be in both, in front of the camera and behind the camera. So when I do my vision, I just shoot it and I leave my models. I tell them what to do. But when my friends, they shoot, because my friends are videographers too, I like to act and to be in the front of the camera.
I mean, it's really cool that you said that you taught yourself as well, like that saying, you got the camera and you just learned how to use it. And with that, you developed your own thing. You took your branding in a personal way. You're doing it like from every aspect. You're creating the fashion, you're doing the behind the scenes, you're also doing the in front of the scenes. A lot of people can't do that, you know? So I do want to ask you, like, especially because a lot of people I know might struggle with the idea of filmmaking or photography, and you mentioned having a vision. So what inspires all of that for you?
So I like when I see New York fashion, I like their fashion, their street fashion. So I want to bring it here. I want to make people in Kuwait to see what's the real street fashion. So I can say like when I'm one of the first people here, I have my first street fashion brand.
MashaAllah. And would you say your filmmaking style when it comes to fashion is influenced by something, you picked up along the way, or is it something you've tried and tried and tried across so many times until you finally got your own style?
So I watch my favorite people. There's my brands I love, and 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 I try to do that vision. So when I do that vision, it feels like satisfying because I did it.
I mean, yeah, I can imagine it being very satisfying because you're doing so much when it comes to your own work. Like, you created this concept, you're working with your friends, you're creating the filmography, the videography, the photos. The whole concept is coming from you and your friends, I'm guessing, as well. And it seems that even though you started off in a very physical kind of way with karate, with skateboarding, you're still able to get inspired in a more creative sense. But I'm also interested in the fact that you also do modeling for your brand also. So what's that like compared to the rest? Like, did it teach you confidence or something?
Uh, it taught me like, how to be confident in front of the camera. So before I was like a bit when I stand in front of the camera, I just can't do nothing. So I like to put myself in things I'm not good at it. So I learn.
I think that's always the great process to tackle new things, because I was listening to Andrew Huberman, which I'm not, I can't say whether he's correct or wrong, whatever, but he says there's an active, part in your brain that it grows if you do something you are afraid of, or, something you're having pushback from. So, like you say, if you put yourself in situations where you're not uncomfortable, a part of you does actually grow and makes you, better to face those kind of things. Now, I want to take you on a very hypothetical example. So now you're in charge of a certain ad, you're making it, you're modeling, right? You're taking the idea from start to finish. What is the most difficult part about all of this process for you?
The most difficult part is like how to make it really cool, how to make it nice, how to make people like the post. So thinking about the lighting, thinking about which model I should pick, it's really hard.
And how do you get to those decisions? Like, for example, myself, I don't have any artistic image. So how do you look at something and then which model to put, which colors to use, which light to use? Like, where does all those decisions come from?
Just me and my research, and sometimes I take my friend's opinion, the skateboarders' friends, and they help me. But at the end, it's my opinion, and I just do it.
It's really cool that you can just do it, and it goes back to your philosophy of just try things and do things, which I think is really great. You mentioned having to think about, if the posts get likes or recognition. So I want to ask you a bit more about the social media aspect. Do you think that social media is helping your brand grow, or are there negative effects?
It is really helping my brand grow. It's all about how you promoting your brand in social media. So social media is a really important thing.
And so do you think that the amount of social media, I would say, focus that a lot of people have to put, people who are in charge of brands and stuff, it takes away from your focus on the actual work itself? Or do you find it very okay to balance between the two? You can find that balance.
It really helped you to grow. So social media is really important. You just search for what you want and learn from it. I always like search, and I learn from the things.
Do you ever get tired from social media though? Because I personally am so bad at social media and posting and keeping up with all the trends. Do you struggle with that too, or is it something that comes more naturally to you?
I love social media, so
It's very different.
I just search. I like searching. I like finding new inspirations. I think it's just the way. What do you want to look?
Now, also, mashallah, you said previously that you're 24, and العمر كله إن شاء الله. A lot of people in your age are feeling the pressures of trying to find their path, knowing, you know, oh, I gotta have a goal, I gotta have purpose, but they can't do it. And mashallah, you've been in 4 worlds now, and you've found yourself in each of them. And like you said, you're balancing them, even though it's hard. Do you have something to say to a lot of these people who are trying to find themselves, trying to find their purpose?
You're just gonna try new things. You're just gonna learn. Even if you fail, it's not a fail. It's just you learning. So that's how you grow, by failing and learning from it.
And I believe you. I think that, mashallah, you are going to go very far, and we wish you the best of luck. With that, we are going to take a very quick break. And we're back from that short break. And Abdullah, it was a pleasure to talk to Yousef. I don't know how someone can do so many things, because I'm like you in the sense that I get overwhelmed by doing one thing. But he's someone who from a young age did karate, 20 years. It requires a lot of discipline, a lot of structure. But then also he found peace in skateboarding, which is not something you would think of as peaceful, but he found it as a more mindful experience.
It is, and you know, mashallah, he said that he still practices karate and skateboarding, even though he's fully busy, you know, in modeling, in his brand, his own brand, his fashion, you know, career. So trying to balance all of those things sounds like a miracle to me, but mashallah, he's doing it, and he's, you know, has an amazing sense in all of this. It was great talking to him.
It was, and he's someone who seemed to emphasize, try things, explore things, do things, just do it. He taught himself a lot of the stuff that he does, and the fact that he was able to take so many different fields, put them together, and create his own brand, his own identity, and he's still so young and has so much going on for him in the future. I wish him the best of luck in his endeavors, and I think the audience should also look forward to what he has to offer. And with that, we'll see you next time.